right, 7 o'clock, I'll call the meeting to order. Everybody get a chance to look at the minutes from December? Any additions or corrections?
Make a motion.
I have an addition
What's that?
that both you, Brian and myself, asked Greg Schmidt from Muscat to assist us and provide, and hopefully provide some ordinances from other towns where the products have been. Assist us in helping write what we're reviewing tonight, write the ordinances. I think that's an important
I think I asked if there was any other municipalities that had similar ordinances. It was in the discussion, nothing to do with the motion. We can add it to the discussion, but it doesn't change any of the motion.
No, not at all.
Any other additions, corrections? We got a second, correct?
Awesome.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. CSM for October, 654 Gilbert Road. Apparently it's two different CSMs.
Yeah, so what we had been reviewing, or what the plan commission didn't have done before, was this 4-lot CSM. And I couldn't recall, maybe I wasn't even at that meeting, but we didn't, I'm guessing Bryce was here originally, but that there was that CSM 4-lot, and then just north of it, they've got parcel 2 that got, I think, shrunk down where the house is a little bit.
We don't have the existing before the CSM.
No. I could look it up, how it lays out on the county map.
I mean, it's hard to do a 1-lot, 3.91 acres without doing something else to the other land with it. So I'm confused on how we're doing this 1-lot minor CSM. How did we get 3.91 acres? Where did that come from? What was it before? 4.13. So where's the other 3 acres? Whatever.
We moved that lot line, right? We moved the line north. And that lot smaller.
Out of lot 2, where the house is?
Correct.
These are the things I wish we had in our packet for,
Now,
because standing alone like this doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I mean?
right.
So if we do it, if this was a 2-lot minor, okay, we change the lot line. This is lot 1, now this is lot 2, the lot size has changed, I can live with that. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Doug Dogger, and the property that you guys are talking about was my mother's and father's property. There's was 4 acres to the north of me. I'm in the middle, 654 Gilbert Road. Property north of me was Dad's. That's the one we're selling as 1 lot. The property south of me was I forget. It was a little over 6 acres. We're dividing that into 3 lots. So 2 lots are going to be converted into 4 lots. And I'm in the middle of both lots. Does that help you in the confusion? We want to do it all as one big deal, not 2 separate.
I just want to make sure we can do it legally.
Oh, sure.
Yes, that southern parcel, 5.9 acres. These
Yeah,
houses.
5.89. So they moved the line south to get up to
20 feet,
3
23
2 acre.
feet south, so I can get my driveway in there.
And to get the minimum lot size of 2 acres on these
Right.
3 lots.
Right.
Is how it looks to me.
Plus, if I did, my driveway would have been not on my side, so I'd move it 23 feet. And it helped to get to the other lots to the south of me.
I also see that those 3 parcels have 3 different owners.
No, just,
Just different names. Trust, different names on the trust, yeah.
well, we're getting that taken care of
He's in the
tomorrow.
middle, mom and dad are on
Yeah,
the,
yep.
right? You got James Leroy and then
Sharon.
Rose.
Sharon Rose Dahlgren. But we're going to the lawyers tomorrow to get that notarized all the way to James Leroy Dahlgren Trust.
And you're gonna send it into St. Croix County.
Yeah.
So that should be taken care of.
Which I didn't think I needed to have that done today, was what I was told.
So the county's weighed in on this? The county
Set-
planning has weighed in on this already?
Yeah, because they sent me a letter saying they wanted to get it all in one name,
Okay.
which we're in the process of doing.
City looked at it too.
It's in the ETZ.
And then the big hang-up was the driveways. That's on the land south of me where it's gonna be 3 lots. We had problems with driveways, but we talked to the engineer and he's got it all figured out. He said it should be good to go.
Oh, that was my next question, is do we need the driveway separation? 'Cause I don't think we do.
It's 100 feet. It's,
On Gilbert Road?
On Gilbert Road, it's 100 feet. It's pretty busy.
I didn't think Gilbert was considered a Class E road. It's not a subdivision.
It was 100 when I lived out there, actually. That was over 30 years ago.
Tim, do you know how Gilbert Road is,
Minimum distance of 100 feet to drive.
well, it says that, but I don't know that our ordinance says that for Gilbert Road. It is. Yeah.
No,
You have a pattern of screwing up things.
I haven't today, no. I haven't,
This is the first time.
Yeah, right.
You know where the road map is, Tim?
No.
Because we had a
I know. They
road
took
map.
everything down off the walls.
You know. Any idea what you think Gilbert Road is classified as?
I don't ever remember hearing that getting reclassified by the state as a minor or major. The only ones that I know that are minor are McCutcheon and Alexander, and the major is Badlands. That's all I've heard the state ever identified as minor and major collectors, which changes the identification for how wide the driveway space is.
True, but I thought we went like A, B, C, D, E.
We still do, but the state went away from that.
I mean, if we approve this tonight and move it onto the town board, that's fine, but I'd like the town board to make sure the classification of the road, if you know what I mean.
I do.
Because I've always been under the guise that if you're inside a subdivision, those roads are Class E and can be 100 feet. But when we're outside of a subdivision, other than the major collectors and minor collectors, it's 200, and the major collectors, it's 500. So, if for some reason Gilbert Road is classified differently than an E or whatever you think the designation is, Tim, if it allows the 100 feet, we're good, but if it doesn't, we'll have to do shared driveways. But without that road map designation, I'm speculating. I don't like that.
where did you get that information from?
Driveway access standard, but it says that it's, I don't have the classification of highway, right? So it says that it's 100 feet in the code. But if there's a different designation for, or a different distance for different designations, then that's something we'll have to.
I mean, we've had a lot of places where it's required 200-foot separation. You don't.
I don't know why that would be. Doesn't make sense to me. It's more of a residential development.
But I don't believe
That
it's a
could have been
subdivision road. The difference is it's not a subdivision.
It wasn't at one point?
I think so.
Subdivisions with all that.
As long as,
Right?
yeah, Tim.
The only question that I would have is for Eric, since he's sitting there. Topography wise, could those be separated to 200 feet with a straight driveway on one of those two lots?
Well, they could be,
Like
they could be assured, or have the potential, I don't know.
Well, lot 3 has the driveway coming right off the corner, so if we move lot 4's driveway to lot 3 and split it, and leave lot 5, you'd have it. Other than, yeah,
Yeah, what's the width of the parcels?
Well, the only reason for asking is the topography.
Yeah.
The topo map.
The spot where you can't get a driveway is actually at the far north end.
Okay.
And that's where it drops off quite a bit from Gilbert.
Yeah, it looks like,
South of there,
I mean, it looks
it's okay, it goes up and back down, but you just up through that,
coming off of Gilbert.
So the only tough spot is at the north end of lot 3. Otherwise, per topography, you can get the driveways.
Right. Or the north end of lot 1.
well, the north end of lot 1 is where,
Yeah, so
if we combine 3 and 4, where number 3 is, I don't see.
Oh, I see what you're saying for a joint. Well, we can cross that bridge when we get to it, right? Let's check on
If Gilbert Road needs 200-foot separations, then they need to do something.
Right, but if not, they should be fine.
Right. So these are 2 separate CSMs. Just want to get this straight. This is, because we can't do a 5-lot CSM. So we're doing a 1-lot minor CSM and a 4-lot minor CSM, correct?
yeah.
Okay. We can lump them together and get a motion, but I just want to make sure that they're worded as such. And I understand now how you got lot 1 without a lot 2.
Yeah.
It just, unless it's 35 acres, there's 2 lots in my mind. Any other discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve, as long as the
Driveway separation.
driveway separation meets the requirement for 100 feet.
Meets the conditions set by the county plan, the single ownership.
Yes.
I'll second. All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Updates to ordinance 105-10G, parent, big parent, small q. You should have the red line and then the clean copy. The only thing I would like to see changed is the, just under Q, just recreational facilities, period. for-profit or who owns them. We have Badlands Tubing, who's a private for-profit, and that's a recreational area. And if there's anything else that comes in for-profit, I mean, if the Top Golf comes in at exit 4, it's a for-profit. Would we not allow that? Or something, I'm just using.
Or we would be doing this again.
Right, so if we just do recreational facilities and leave everything else off, I think it reads better and gives us more flexibility.
Now, that's my concern, though, is the broadness of recreational versus athletic. I'm all in favor of athletic. Recreational gets into motorized activities.
We would still approve whatever they came in with. We'd still have a kick at the can, not just automatically have a motocross thing. Like I'm thinking Badlands too, it's already existed. That's not an athletic, right? So there's probably other activities out there that aren't classified as athletic, in my mind.
Recreational is still not a nuisance.
So, and if you want to have a different term than recreational facilities, I don't have any suggestions. I just don't see why it has to be owned and operated by nonprofit or government.
It should,
That's my thinking.
I agree.
We've got a lot of open land along federal, state, and county highways that could be developed in the future. This will, which will apply to us. So you're looking, so I suggested athletic versus recreational.
But that limits it.
Athletic is just as broad as recreation.
Fairly broad, I agree. I've seen other wording such as high school type sports, activities. I'm a little concerned about getting away from youth-oriented too.
Would you rather say senior?
Yeah, I don't want to zero in on anything.
The attorney said that needed to go away.
I would agree.
Youth oriented.
I
The
would
attorney
agree.
said that.
Yeah, I understand.
Well, they still have to come before the commission.
Right, like I say,
Right.
we're probably not going to approve a motocross facility.
Correct.
Or a nightclub.
Yeah, so with sporting events or practices. Yeah, I'm fine with recreational facilities, but I just don't want the other part of it on that sentence. And like I said, we already have the Badlands too.
Right.
That's a I believe, in my mind, that's a recreational facility. They may have expanded from their original approval without coming through us. I believe if they ever try to expand again, we should bring them in. And then they could fall under our possibly new lighting
Well,
ordinance.
I was asking earlier, anybody remember how they got lights or when?
Out there,
Yeah.
they put in their own poles and their own lights. They bought lights from whoever was tearing something down.
Without approval.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But they were there before all the neighbors were across the street.
Yeah.
That's true. I remember.
So, that's the only thing I suggest changing. Is there anything else anybody wants to?
Yep. Concerned about, the hours of operation, it was 6:30 when we really drafted this that. So it's 7 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Actually, the copy that Becky has here is not copy of that.
Because I thought I saw 6:30 to be earlier
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, which is, so there was this earlier version that came out, and there are more revisions since that. So that's, that one, yeah, that
I
was.
got the wrong.
But you sent a subsequent.
Mine says 7 to 10.
There was an email that came later.
Yeah. That must be longer.
That came at 3:25.
Oh, yeah, I missed that.
Oh, wait, I got this one, yeah.
No, that's all.
Yeah.
Next day.
In the
That
back.
was a Thursday.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
That had 6:30.
Yes, it's 6:30 and 10:30.
Which is supposed to be just the last one I printed out.
Which was,
It says 6:30 to 10:30.
yeah. Can we get in the office with some copies? Is that possible?
No.
No.
None of us have.
We can request to put a copy.
But we can, I mean, if we want 6:30 to 10:30, that's fine.
I think there's other pages.
There are.
That seems way too broad.
6:30 too early?
6:30 backed up to residential.
Normally we have weekdays and weekends for noise ordinances. I thought there was a difference
There is.
for noise, a little. Can't remember.
So Eric, you said the 6:30 to 10:30 aligns with what Grandview has, is that what you?
Yeah, which was part of the request that happened. We had the earlier, or the whatever it was, 7 to 10 before, and then we changed it to 6:30 to 10:30. Consistent with
Is there someone representing the boosters?
Can I speak to that for a minute?
Sure.
Ryan Carey, I'm a booster board member. Thanks for taking this up this evening. So, in terms of the hours of operation, I understand that 6:30 can sound awfully early, I would agree. I can say though that I think the intention is, and anybody that's had kids in tournaments and running tournaments, you are setting up early. First games in any tournament I've ever been a part of when it comes to baseball, softball, are not starting any earlier than 8. Often kids are arriving at 7, 7:30, and then games actually start at the 8 o'clock hour. But, you know, volunteers are there early getting set up. And so I think the intention, certainly we had a tournament at Grandview this past year. Lots of teams, lots of great tourism brought to the city, Hudson. And we're there early at 6:30, getting the fields prepped. So that's the reason we want to make sure we're not out of compliance with your hours of operation, that are being there and being on site.
Wouldn't we address that when we permit the
The
use?
site plan approval, we can specify hours.
And I guess my concern is not just for them, but again, other future development, like soccer fields.
I would think you could limit it to, you could say the competition to start earlier than a certain time in your site plan and your special exception permit approval.
I think there is an important distinction, hours of operation versus hours of use of the PA.
Sure.
You know, you're not going to be on the PA at 6:30 in the morning. You're going to be setting up getting ready for.
Good, that's where I was headed.
I'm fine with that. You don't need at 6:30 setting up.
There's not a lot of noise or activity.
Yeah.
So, just so we're clear, that means if we go to 10, then.
It says 10:30.
No, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the one.
Same kind of thing to me as set up and tear down. If it's put in
Oh, you
there,
got it.
the PA shuts off at 10 o'clock.
But it says, further down, the lights can be on an hour after that. So we're looking at 11:30 for lights. And I understand you got to tear down after. Turn it to
With those lights, are we really worried about lights?
Or the noise.
I would say noise first.
I would say noise first. Lights don't bother me. With the presentation that you guys gave last time, I'm really not concerned about those lights. You can't even see them once you walk to the parking lot. If you're gonna spend that kind, I mean, that doesn't, I would be more concerned about noise.
And there is a noise ordinance on the books,
Correct.
so we have to be compliant with that no matter what.
I don't have any light concerns.
Do you know how tall the light poles will be?
Just quite as.
Yeah, in somebody's backyard.
Hence the footnote stipulation.
And the candle.
Understood, but you will be able to see the direct line of sight. I took from the presentation, the slide, it had, this was a small insert, and this is the lighting, what do they call it, lighting equipment list. And there's 22 light poles at 60 feet or higher. And there's 14 at 77 feet, 22 at 67 feet, 45 at 60 feet. I'm throwing that out there so that you're aware of at 11:30 at night, what might be in somebody's backyard.
The truck styles. You can see that from here.
Yeah, but that's not dark sky technology. It's- I mean,
It's definitely not.
obviously, they showed us, visualizations of what it lights.
I've driven by the fields down by Madison. Remember,
I think he was referring to Wanakee, is that what he was talking about when he
I
mentioned?
believe so. I think
Quantity was, yeah.
it's near that farm that they raise the ABS bulls. Beautiful facility, and you can drive there by there at night. It's kind of cool. It just lights the field and nothing past it. And it's right along 94. It's kind of cool. So, are we okay with 6:30 to 10:30 on the hours of operation on number 2?
With the new lighting technology, yeah. So subject to the noise ordinance, so that noise would be a concern.
What else do we have?
How did we come up with 0.2 foot candles?
That was taken from other ordinances. We saw a range of 0.2 to 0.5 even. We went with the 0.2.
I know that in other districts of our code, we're at 0.4. Just wondering if you want to be consistent.
Yes.
Yes.
0.5 is the emergency lighting in a building, so you can get out if the lights go off. The emergency lights come on, and we make them have an average of 0.5. It's not very bright. It's enough so you don't fall and trip on something, but it is a half a candle is not much light at all. So 0.2 is hardly anything.
So it could go to 0.4 to stay consistent with other sections.
I'm just pointing it out. I'm very happy with 0.2.
But that is a very small number.
But I don't want somebody to come along later and say, well, you're doing it here in your commercial code, not here.
Sure. I guess I don't know. Are you sure it's 0.4?
Yes,
Okay. I would change it to 0.4 to be more consistent. And it's not, you'd be hard pressed to tell the difference.
I agree.
Brian, did you guys just change the candlelight color or what?
Yeah, from .2 to .4.
Why?
Because it's consistent with the other part of our ordinance, and the difference between .2 and .4 is pretty negligible.
Dark sky is .1.
I couldn't find that. I looked for it. Well, then we gotta go with dark sky.
We took dark sky out and said that you gotta have an engineering firm verify that it meets that. I just don't wanna get it too bright. If you're concerned about the neighbors and then you raise the candlelight power, that concerns me. You know, I'm sorry.
Like I said, .2 to .4, we require a minimum of .5 in a commercial building like this to be able to get out safely. And that's just so you don't trip on a chair or something on your way out of the building. It's not bright. And if it's .4 in our other ordinance.
Is your light 60 feet in the air in a commercial building?
On really big buildings like at Norflex, it is.
Okay.
And I think they're 70 feet tall. And we're talking at the ground level is where the point, whatever foot candles are, we're at the ground.
But you're talking about a recreational area that, you're right, is an ag residential, not commercial. That's why you wanted to control it, I thought.
What do you mean we took dark sky out?
There is,
Don't name it by definition.
Right, because that might not be the vendor that
I thought dark sky was a
Dark
standard.
sky is not a vendor. I'm confused again. I'm looking at the copy Eric sent out last week,
yeah,
Thursday, and it's got dark sky in there.
it does. Number 3E.
Lighting designed to adhere to the requirements as noted in the dark sky approved outdoor sports lighting program's most recent publication.
That's why I voted no last week. I didn't get a warm fuzzy that they were committed to dark sky. And then I saw it in here, and that, I can buy that. So is it in or out?
What is it?
Right.
I don't know.
I didn't read the ordinance.
Yeah, so it's in the current draft.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's in the draft I got.
All right.
Yeah.
And to be clear, dark sky is a standard, not a Muska lighting
Not a company.
thing.
Right.
It's not a
It's a whole different, I know we can't put, must adhere to Muska lighting.
Muska lighting, right.
That would be a bad thing for us to do.
So,
Yes.
and just so you guys know, we did reach out to,
Muska.
Muska. Exchanged multiple voicemails and even email and,
Thank you for trying. It's must go. It's not the Muscat from Twin Cities.
It's not
Maybe
Muska.
you were leaving a message from Muska.
no, Dave connected us, Ryan connected us with the rep
And
and.
he's supposed to be on the dark sky website.
Just trying to follow along here. Are we gonna make it brighter?
Rich.
Well,
So
is
no,
it a contradiction then if it's, I mean, you said dark sky is
I don't think
.1.
so. This is dealing with recreational facilities.
Steve lighting under recreational facilities.
I'd say just.
Do you differentiate between the parking lot and the recreational fields?
There's language in there about other, how is it worded?
This section does not apply if the lighting of the outdoor recreational surface is for the sole purpose of safety or to prevent unauthorized activities.
That,
So,
right, the safety part. So you can have different safety things for exiting and stuff at the parking lots and whatnot. And that part stays. I mean, I guess I don't care. I just wanted to be consistent with the .4, but if we're talking dark sky and we need .2, we need .2.
Especially, isn't dark sky .1?
I don't have
I
it.
can't find it anywhere right
So, Tim, did you say that?
What?
Dark sky is 0.1?
Yes. I got that from Dave O'Brien. When he said, why did we
I
change
searched
it?
their website.
Dave's question was, why did we put .2 in there when dark sky was .1?
Yeah.
That was his question. Now he went to .4.
Well, if there's .4 somewhere else in our code, that's
That's what I
the
was
only thing that I would, and if the person could actually decipher the difference, but if it's negligible, then I guess I don't know why we would contradict stuff within our own ordinance. I think that's gonna create more of a headache and misunderstanding then.
Unless that favorite appears in the code somewhere at a different value.
But we have different standards in commercial and industrial.
Versus recreational.
Right, so
We
I'm
can keep
fine
it
with-
here with recreational,
Yeah.
because we want to make it adhere to dark sky anyway.
Yeah, so I'm,
So there is a difference,
absolutely,
and there's a reason why we can have two different numbers,
yes,
because we're talking two different things.
correct. So.
I would just keep
You want point 2 or point 1?
0.2.
Point 2, all right. And I'm assuming that the dark sky portion in there deals with the candela that we talked about last month?
So, actually, the dark sky that we noted was pulled directly from the picture that, that Greg had sent. To pull that information, we looked at that document, and rather than listing different things in there, so let's just
Just reference one
just
guy.
reference it. We don't need to rewrite it.
Yeah, I like that.
Then we need to have a copy of that available
Changes.
somewhere.
There is actually, in that, there is a certification too, that happens on that. The designer and manufacturer follow these requirements, and then at the end, it gets certified to this sky.
Somebody comes up and measures.
Someone comes out and measures.
And they have to do it without a moon.
Without what?
A moon.
Yeah.
It has to be a dark night. Otherwise, your numbers don't. The moon will give off candela.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
Dark sky will also help you write the ordinance.
I'm sure they have some examples out there somewhere. Okay, anything else that we want to change? Are we okay with the 10 to 7 on the, is that what it is on the amplified sound?
So in-flight sound, we did not include any time.
It says
So-
may
It just says
restrict.
are permitted and shall conform with any applicable noise regulations.
So that was actually something that the attorney mentioned of strike. He's doing hours of operation already somewhere else, let's leave it out of the summer.
Tim?
I put some notes on my stuff back here. I'll just throw it out to you, see what you think of it. Because of Greg's concern about other activities coming in, my recommendation would be put those hours that you want from 6:30 to 10:30, but the final hours will be set at the special exception hearing by the town board for that activity. So that you could come in with some other activity other than this, and the town board at the time of the special exception could set those specific hours that they want for that activity, not the 6:30 to 10:30 across the board. Just another sentence after that.
But didn't Eric just say that that would be taken care of at site plan approval?
At the time of the special exception hearing.
This spells it out. Now that you say that, if it's in the code, all right, so we're recreational facilities. It's in the code as hours of operation 6:30 to 10:30. Going through the special exception process allows you to make adjustments, but if it says specifically in the code that you're able to operate 6:30 to 10:30, are you going to be hard to sway from that for other recreational facilities?
So let's add the caveat in there that hours shall be determined by the town board at the special exception hearing.
Yes. Hours of operation will be set at the special exception by town board.
That's the problem you're gonna have with setting hours in your rezoning that ordinance. If you have it till 10:30, you're also looking at all the parcels that don't have lights. I mean, tonight the discussion was trying to find an accommodation for the boosters. We're all trying to find a way through this. But if you're looking at Capitol Field, and that's open till 10:30 at night, the park closes at 9:30, you know, then you have a dichotomy there. If you're looking at the other fields around, so I think you find a better way to do it if you're stumbling through this, to come up with, hey, let's find an accommodation for the boosters so that they're there. But don't put it in that part, and if you do put it in, don't leave it till 10:30 at night for non-lighted fields that people can be out there, because that, now you're stripping parts out of the original ordinance. That's why there was daylight hours in that original ordinance. I would encourage you to discuss that through that as well.
We could just leave hours out and go with Tim's sentence.
But I thought Tim's sentence had the hours plus the,
Hours of operation.
You could say the maximum hours would be 6:30 to 10:30. The actual hours of operation will be set at the special exception permit by town board.
Can I just throw a suggestion in there? You might say hours of operation to be as stated here, and then you could say something like, the specific activities allowed on the premises may be otherwise limited in the special exception permit. So you establish your overall hours of operation, just like we talked about, but then when you issue, assuming you issue a special exception permit to allow operations, you reserve the right to limit certain activities. So for example, you may say in the competition not to begin any earlier than 8 a.m. and to conclude by 10 p.m. And you have a little buffer time on either side of it to shut things down. I'm just, as an example.
I think what you really do then is tie it, is say, tonight what Ryan said, you tie it back to that language that says, if you're in compliance with dark skies and technology, and if you're meeting these criteria, then you're allowed to have it open till 10:30 at night and have it lit and all the petitions that you have. If you don't, then you can't be out there operating till 10:30 at night after dark. By putting it in there, it's like putting hours in the commercial ordinance that says, hey, you can be open from 7 in the morning to 11 at night. We don't put that in our commercial ordinance. So I think as you're feeling your way through that, that's going to be cumbersome by putting those hours in there.
so you're suggesting leaving the hours off altogether, hard numbers, and just leave it up to the town board at
Based
the
on
hearing.
special exception.
Well, especially if you're leaving it, that they're still coming back in through special exception, where you can condition their approvals, as long as they're meeting dark sky technology and all of these other.
We're under the special exception canopy right now.
Correct.
So,
But then I guess I'm putting it back to the board and to the planning commission. I haven't seen any of this, and I promised myself not to talk tonight, but I also feel I have skills to add to it. I should. Well, if we're working through this to find a way to find accommodation, that's the way to do it. If there's a way to condition, when the boosters come back in to say, we need this, this, and this.
I want the town board to have flexibility to limit the hours if they see fit. I don't have a problem with 6:30 to 10:30 in general.
You could just put maximum allowable,
Yeah, that's right.
Right, so
hours of operation are 6:30 to 10:30.
Great, it's a,
But if it's up in your zoning ordinance, if it's up in 105 whatever, you've now defined it for all the ag residential parcels.
That's not true. So I'm not your attorney, but I think your attorney will tell you to please check with him or her. I think if you set it at 6:30 to 10:30, you can't as a board, when you're considering the special exception permit, allow anything to start earlier or go later. But through the special exception permit, you would be allowed to shrink. And
That's
so
what I think.
I believe that's the advice that's what I believe the rule to be. And I think as written, and then knowing that extra layer that you have with the special exception permit, probably no change in this conversation is probably all or nothing.
And I'm not an attorney, but I think of it on the applicant side of it, not coming in, and I see that it says you can operate from 6:30 to 10:30, and then through the special exception, like, no, it's only 9 to 5 you can operate. Well, your code says different, you know, is that a challengeable thing?
Yeah, but are we adding the note that's going to say
Yeah, if we-
maximum allowed, final hours may be outlined by the special exception, you know, which is approved by the town board?
So I think that there's all sorts of options, but I think that's one, you know, a max number, 6:30, 10:30. We could do that, and a sentence under this effect, hours of operation to be set as part of a special exception approval process.
Final hours of operation.
Yeah, and then when you say that, then when I say that, I'm like, well, do you even put in the 6:30?
Right, that's my,
You know, if you just set it, then the board has flexibility to say, all right, boosters, you're 6:30, 10:30, but, you know, motocross, you're not.
All right, years ago, Bristol Golf Course had night golf. They had these little glow in the dark
Right.
balls. Remember those? It was kind of fun. Because you didn't lose as many balls. If it was really dark, you could find your ball no matter where you So that's a recreational facility.
and they could do it with lighted soccer balls.
That would be fun.
How do you exist, I mean,
The hazardous smoke.
Very hazardous.
you know, you got Badlands, we got the soccer, and they might want to do something till 10:30. We have no way, if it's included in the ordinance, I mean, we don't have a way to,
So
Might be the safest to take the hours off, excuse me.
I still think you have to have
Hours of operation.
hours of operation. You have to set parameters.
but you can do that.
Yeah, but if it's
with a
case
special
by
exception.
case
we don't,
basis, the special exception permit.
we don't do it in commercial.
We don't do any of this.
Yeah, we don't have to do, it can be different.
I know.
Well, that's what you're wrestling with tonight. I haven't seen the language. I'm not opposed.
The ultimate decision is the town board's
Yeah, but
special
I just want to
exception.
finish my sentence. You have to look at this prospectively. If it's not the boosters tonight, and you're putting hours in there to say till 10:30 at night, and it becomes all of the A residential parcels that can come in, under all the things that you've changed under your ordinance, you have to be looking and anticipating what they might be. So now how do you come back and accommodate the boosters? You either find it through conditional use permits or through a special exception permitting process. And I haven't seen what you've stripped out of your language yet. So if you still have an accommodation in there for special exception, that would be the time to put those conditions in that final permit. And as Adam said, that would find the final hours then that they would be allowed to have.
I'm leaning to take the hours out completely and just say it's,
Based on the special exception.
Yeah, what they're
by the
doing.
town board.
Because like you said, just say
and I want to keep this broad. And then the special exception will get down to the nitty gritty. What do you want to say?
Oh, I was just gonna ask, could you put, maybe to protect the property owners around these areas that you're steering this ordinance towards, could you put some teeth in a way, like you're talking about the lighting, you're saying it's based on dark skies technology and it being certified. Could you put a clause in there maybe that it needs to be certified every year in the event that things change?
Well, they have most recent publication.
And I don't want to get into that because if they come up with a better technology in 5 years that costs $100,000, I'm not making anybody upgrade their system just because dark sky changed the technology. You know what I mean?
Yep.
True, but I don't want to have anything in there that says something to that effect, that it has to be done every year. That could cost somebody.
Well, my concern there was they get certified, say they get, all goes in and it gets certified year 1. But come year 2 or 3, all of a sudden, maybe they let things degrade or...
Well, that you just go back to what they got certified as and go, you're beyond what you've done. You got to go back to what was approved.
Oh, sure, but I'm saying, but to make sure they stay at that approval level.
Well, any of the special exception requirements have that teeth. We can pull the special exception if they don't meet what they've agreed to.
But the problem we got, just like you showed with the snow tube, nobody looks. You don't even let the...
It's complaint based. I'll give you that.
Okay, all right. All right,
And I've had plenty of lighting complaints in the town.
yeah.
No, which is surprising. I've never had a complaint about their snow crossing over into people's yards.
From
You
the
know,
lower.
right. So. I know. So I think we take the hours out. Through the special exception process approved by the town board. 'Cause and that keeps it open-ended for other possibilities. What else you got?
I have a question, Brian. You still have, we need a yearly schedule in there?
No, that's crossed out too.
Thank you.
Schedule of events to be provided with the town board yearly.
If they're following the rules of the special exception, do you really care if they're playing softball, baseball, or football?
No,
But if there was something outside the special exception that they got approved for, they wouldn't have to come.
I think there will be a question coming up, we'll probably have to wrestle with, if you take out youth and just put in recreation. I couldn't hear everything you said tonight, but is recreation now adult recreation?
So we got so far.
Candlelight cross-country skiing. They do that in the park. Yeah, that's
I'm at number 6, or number 5, I'm number 5.
the amplified sound system.
I do see a conflict with our noise ordinance.
Care to elaborate?
If they're playing ball till 10, our noise ordinance is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, except holidays, 7:30 to 8. I just see I'm not an expert, but I see a conflict there. I don't know how we
I would be shocked if they violated the noise ordinance. Our noise ordinance
Is it measured in decibels, or what is it?
in length of time.
This system is not going to be one that you're going to hear anywhere other than if you were sitting in the bleachers or between first, second, third, and home. We're not talking about something you're going to hear in the outfield, something you're going to hear in another field. It's going to be very directional in nature. And so we're very comfortable with complying with your existing noise ordinance, period.
But we're doing this for everybody, not.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that just so we're clear, we're not.
And again, we can, during the special exception, they can tell us what kind of system they have and adjust accordingly.
Right, how do you enforce the noise ordinance now? You mentioned
We've, I've gotten those complaints too, and there are meters to measure decibels. Norflex has had the most complaints, and the sound that comes from that facility does strange things. We walked around that building, I don't know how many times, measured everything, and up on the end of Kid Lane is where it's the noisiest. It bounces up over the hill somehow. I don't understand it, but when we go out to measure, we go around the facility, and at their property lines, there's no noise. But a half a mile away, they're bothered by the noise. So it is measurable, but it's.
So is what they're hearing on above what's allowed in our ordinance?
It's annoying.
But is it above what's allowed by the decibel readings that were allowed?
Not really, but I understand that it's annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably not over 45 decibels, but I think they had a motor out there a couple of years ago here, my house, right just down the road here.
Yeah, I got a lot of complaints that
one,
yes, and that did, and they had trouble getting a new motor parts or whatever, and so they put insulation around it. Well, it must have been a little bit, but yeah, that was a screamer. So yes, to answer your question, it is.
well, that's why I asked, because you would say, well, we'll comply with the noise ordinance, and if we don't have a way to enforce it or understand it, then it becomes subjective.
It's not subjective. There's a meter. It's measurable.
I'm comfortable with our noise ordinance.
You can put an app on your phone now, decibel meter, find an app.
You want me to finish that conversation with the Norflex?
Yeah.
What ended up happening, because they met the code at the lot line, I worked with the homeowner that lived in that. If you stood on his deck, which his bedroom window is there, it was a loud pitch if you're just laying there in the dark. So we went back and worked with Norflex to see if they could work on something with screening and stuff. And they worked on it, and finally he still complained, and they said, what do you want us to do? And he stopped.
I think he cut down some brush that he shouldn't have. In hindsight, I think there was some trees or brush that he cleared out that was buffering the noise that was. Yeah. Which is too bad. I don't know what else to do up there either.
But ironically, I talked to other people on Bradley, they couldn't hear that sound either.
It is a phenomenon that it just focuses right on his deck.
I stood on his deck and it's real.
I agree, but it's weird. It's very strange. So, all right. Anything else? So does anybody want to make a motion to recommend to the town board the changes that we've made to the 105-10G3 parent spot?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say
Working sessions. Here's my concern moving forward, is there's a public hearing scheduled toward the end of February. This is just, I guess, a comment. As a town, we need to do a better job of getting this new ordinance language out to the public. You can't find it on our website. You gotta come up here and stand outside to see it, or schedule to come in and see it. It's we just need to do a better job in the future. Because at the public hearing, people, yeah, it's gonna get out there through social media or whatever, but it's just not a good way to do business.
I'm a little concerned about making it too public, Greg. Because what happens is you'll notice tonight, I've seen some of the earlier versions. I haven't seen the last one. As a consequence, you get a whole bunch of new ones out there, out in social media and everything else. And everybody's got the wrong information, and they start complaining in social media. People banging on other people about wrong information when they don't have the right information. So I'm a little bit concerned about doing too much of that.
But if it was an attachment to the public hearing on the website, people would be able to go there and see what's being presented that night.
It ain't being presented that night. You just changed it tonight. It'll probably get changed at the planning commission, at the town board. If we have some working sessions, it'll get changed again before the public hearing. You know what I mean? So yeah, all of a sudden you got 6 iterations out there, and which one's the right one, you know?
The final one.
Well, I think what Greg's saying is before the public hearing, whatever's happened during those working sessions or meetings should be posted with the information about the public hearing.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, that's the point I was making. If you look at the city's website, they do draft. They have the big red draft letters across it, and they even post the drafts before the final. I'm not suggesting that. I'm happy if we can someday get the final out there before voting takes place, or hearings take place.
let's vote on this motion. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right.
So when will we be able to see that?
What's that?
Brian, when will the public be able to see what you guys just, I
It's
suppose?
gonna go to the town.
It's gotta go to the town board.
Yeah. But you know what's gonna happen on this. You'll hold the public hearing. We're gonna come in, Teresa will sit there with the stopwatch and say, you got 2 minutes.
3.
Oh, well, I thought she cut that back to 2, but.
I thought it was always 3. With a total time or whatever.
So I'm just saying, it'd be really tough for a person to come up and address the bullets of the changes that are proposed here in 2 minutes.
How many people want to speak though, too?
What's that?
Depends on how many people want to speak.
Well, and yeah, that's true. But,
There is no town board meeting before the public hearing.
Yeah, there is.
yeah,
On the 28th
on the 25th,
or 29th?
or I thought it was the 25th.
It's the first week in February.
Well, the public hearings, what's the
Hearing
date?
until the 25th of February.
Yeah,
When's the public hearing?
The 25th of February.
a half hour before the town board meeting.
No, the town board meeting is February 4th at 6 o'clock.
Oh, wait, I thought I saw there two meetings on the 25th.
It isn't posted yet, Tim.
The 2 meetings are, if they have the public hearing, and they do that all the time, where they'll say if there's no opposition to it, there may be a town board meeting after that a decision might be made. You only do that so there's no opposition to the public, to the public hearing.
It doesn't say that there, but
I read it, it does say that.
it does say that? I'll have to reread it. So wait, Tim, you're saying that if there's no opposition,
It
then
doesn't say
the,
it specifically like that, but you have a public hearing and then you say, if necessary, there'll be a town board meeting afterwards where a decision might be made.
otherwise, the meeting, that decision would go to the following month?
Well,
It's 14, yes.
they got it,
We'll do that for all kinds of stuff. After a public hearing.
But I guess I'm always used to seeing it right before the meeting.
If the members could bring out their minutes from last month again, I just want to highlight one thing. Right on the second page, right before we're ready to adjourn, I made a note of the state of the record law and all, that all communication has to go through our office. I want you to highlight.
Maybe we need to just talk a little bit about that.
You can't talk to each other
Right.
in any way, shape, form, social media. I mean, you can bump into each other at the store, but don't talk about anything coming up on the agenda. But you can't email everybody else. You can only talk to our office.
I would maybe suggest that that your office then send everything offline copy. I mean,
We've started doing that, but I'm sure
Just
you all
makes-
have everybody's email.
for sure, but sometimes it
But
just
don't-
creates that extra layer of protection, like nobody can just accidentally hit your file.
Right, so
Can I copy Eric?
I would rather have you go, if you want me to send it to Eric, I will send it to Eric. So everything goes through me.
I want to hear, yeah, I want to hear.
Correct. You can't
They can
discuss
go over here occasionally. A lot of times we don't see it either.
anything, and I'll talk to Keith about the same thing. In fact, he might get
So they're over to see her mom and dad. They fortunately stay at our house, otherwise
Yeah.
we wouldn't see them at all.
He's just not here enough.
I'm not here either.
More than he is.
Oh, yeah,
That's their job.
Okay,
Wait,
anything?
so does that include replying on social media things?
Yes.
I did that, I'm just asking.
Yeah, no.
It was about the funding of this whole thing, you said, you know, it's all fundraised by the boosters. But
Just,
I commented.
yeah, just, it's best to just,
None on that post.
just
Like, we've done
don't-
a lot of posts.
just don't.
Still.
Just don't. Yeah.
That's a move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
But,